You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Orada Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksiyon kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Whoa, wait, what? All right. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 127 of Beşiktaş International's The Black Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Sinan Sporting, live from New York City. And with me again is the legend himself, the Akman, Evran Akman. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been better, obviously, with Beşiktaş. You know, I thought we would be doing much better this week, given that we're only a few days away from our incoming season. But, you know, whatever. I guess there's some good news and some bad news. Still have some energy coming from our last match. How about you, Evran?
Yeah, I mean, not the most exciting time for a football fan. Slow transfer window and really bad Nations League games that are only slightly better than friendlies. So
yeah, and then unsatisfying batch of matches for the NT as well. So to compound our misery. No, but yeah. So this week we have obviously quite a bit to talk about. Actually, although nothing that's particularly exciting, and maybe it depends how you feel about the land of legends. And so yeah, let's definitely start there because that's probably the good news in all of this. And so yeah, we followed up last week's sort of unsuccessful starter against Sivas with a match against Antalyaspor. It was a home match. Actually, we were in Vodafone Park, which was sort of weird. Yeah, I'll let you tell us about the lineup.
it was very similar to last week. There's three changes. Two were forced. So I'll get right into it. Utku remained in goal. Emre did not make his professional debut. Same back four: Necip, Wellington, Enzo Rocco, and then Sakala. First change was a suspended Dorukhan was out for Atiba. And then Ozhan partnered him. The midfield attacking trio changed a bit. It was still Mensah in the middle, but Hasic got to start on the right for Lens, and then Atakan replaced the injured Ankulu.
Yeah.
And up top was family man Kyle Lamb.
The family man, and yeah, the legend grows. Speaking of the family man, it's we won't spend a whole lot of time on a friendly match as you know, to keep with our tradition. But let's just talk a little bit about the highlights. Obviously, the final score, we'll just cut right to the chase. Let's just do the goals, I guess. How about that? First of all...
Yeah, then just give a quick analysis.
Yeah, exactly. The third minute, we got off to a fantastic start. And I'll hand it over to you, Evran.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the type of goal you really want to be excited about, right?
Yeah, it was like right off the bat. About, you said third minute. I think I have the second minute, but felt like right at the start of the game. Ozhan was in like the right half space kind of thing, you know, near the wing, and all of a sudden he just clipped a forward diagonal ball into the box, and Atakan Uner was making a diagonal run from the left wing, cutting in towards the right side of the goal. His first touch took him a little bit outside the goal. You're like, oh, maybe the chance is done. Man, on his first touch of the game, his first ever start, just fires a low effort across goal. Atakan scored 1-0.
Yeah. A bit different from Hasic's first touch last week. But I'll still say I think Hasic had a pretty good game. I think there were a number of players that gave our fans generally pretty good vibes this week, despite the fact that we haven't made any of the transfers we need to, and that we're still generally kind of struggling in the big picture over here. But it was good to see a lot of young guys play well, and that includes Hasic and obviously Atakan, who came out with a fantastic goal in the 3rd minute. And obviously what was especially nice to see was Ozan on that play, back to his real form, just the incisive, just wonder touches he has, the potential to always, kind of impact the game with. So, yeah, that was fantastic.
Having a midfielder who passes the ball forward, I'm used to that.
El Neni, can't get him out of your scope, huh? He's living in your head rent free now, bro.
They're gonna mention him again today, so.
Yeah, the transfer window is such a mess. We do not need any more names. Come on, just let's stick with whatever. Just make.
No, he said I wish El Neni was still here, and I was like, no, you don't.
No. Anyway, but so yeah, 3rd minute, nice goal. Generally, just dominated. Beyond that, we weren't deterred by having a lead, which was good to see. Also, we had that kind of killer instinct. And yeah, 40th minute, another just fantastic goal, and the family man played a real pivotal role here. Tell us what happened, Evran.
It was a nice 1-2 between Mr. Bernard Mensah and Kyle, the family man, Laren. A slight little bit of luck. Laren kind of like an outside the foot flick through the defender's legs, flicked off his calf. The margins of beauty, I guess, or the margins of the goals. 1 inch higher and it's blocked. But he just had the right height on it, squeezed through the player's shorts, I guess, and then
game of inches. They say.
Yeah, game of inches. Mensah was through on goal and had a confident finish for his first goal. Our second player with his first goal in the game. So.
No, yeah, it was a fantastic shot as well. From everything about it was great. Obviously, fantastic seeing Mensah get off the docket there, whatever it's called. Even though it's a friendly, so it doesn't, it's not a first official goal, but just good all around stuff. Kyle Laren imposing himself physically. Obviously he still lacks the touch you want to see. There's pieces that are missing, but impacting the game positively, showing improvement, development from his time away in Belgium. So anyway, halftime we're up 2-0. Anything you want to say before we talk about our last goal, Evran?
I think I did Mr. Hasic again. I guess not that he was world class, but I thought he looked pretty good again. Always wants to go forward. Interesting in the back line. Rocco probably looked a little bit better than Wellington again.
A lot better. Not a little bit.
Yeah, not a little, a lot. Yeah.
It should be noted that Wellington committed another foul in the box, giving them a penalty. But Utku came through.
They missed again.
Utku, giant save. No, it was really actually quite an easy save somehow.
A really bad penalty from Freddie, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Did the Pogba run up where he, trotted for a year.
Yeah, very.
And then just casually passed it.
Anticlimactic, really, you could say, because it was such a long build up, and it was he's gonna do something fancy, and it was dink, oh wow, that was actually terrible. But so Utku can say he saved the game-winning. Not really. I guess we were already up by 2. I will say, as far as substitutions go, that Lenz came in the 61st minute for Atakan. Kartal Kaida Yilmaz came in for Bernard Mensah in the 61st minute, and for Kyle Laren, we saw Ozan Akgün, which was, I think, for you and I, very exciting, right?
Yeah, he wasn't there last game, so I was like, I guess they gave up on him, but he actually got a bit of a shot in the last friendly, so that was nice to see.
Yeah, and then
in an oversized shirt, but
yeah, that was a little
made him really look like a child.
That's so true. That was funny. In the 83rd minute, we had a couple more subs. Alpay Çelebi came in, another one that I think we were both excited about. and Ilkay Işler, who I hadn't really heard much of, to be honest.
He played like in a friendly. He's been on the bench a couple times. But yeah, he's never really played in a competitive game for Beşiktaş before. But yeah, that was his chance. And again, we're talking about first touches.
Yeah,
his first touch of the game was it was like a quick free kick down, if I remember correctly, down the line. Antalya wasn't really ready for it. Right as he came on, like after the substitution commenced, always on his played a low cross from the left side of the box, kind of like, and it was like this weird. He's like sliding in, and he's not like in front of the defender. The defender was in front of him, but he still somehow got a touch to it. It's kind of hard to explain, but
yeah, no, it was.
Referee then called it offside.
Yeah, but then
the replays showed that like Oğuzhan was like 4 yards onside or something like crazy, and you're just like, well, what do you? For some reason, the League of Legends has VAR in it, but Europa League cannot have VAR apparently. So
there you go.
Ilkay Işler got his first professional goal, first goal of the game.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it doesn't count as just a friendly, but still, yeah. I mean,
I'm sure he'll say it's his first
yeah,
professional
exactly.
goal.
Yeah, and Bernard Benson might say the same as well. But so yeah, that was exciting. To be honest, I had thought that it was Ozan Akgün for the longest time, and so I was almost a little disappointed that it wasn't. But I shouldn't feel that way, I guess, right? Any young player of ours who can make an impact and maybe develop into something is good news. And obviously they're both quite young. So, but yeah, all around good stuff. The game ends 3-0, and we secure the epic, legendary slot of third place in the Land of Legends Cup. And so the Legends commences. And what kind of stinks about all of this is that there's not any. I thought we would at least play like, you know what I'm saying, like a local Istanbul side from first or second division, Istanbulspor or something. You know what I'm saying, just to get a little bit more match experience under the belt and hopefully get some of our new guys some experience. Although at the moment, the only new guy remains Francisco Montero, who we already talked about last week, who has joined us from Atletico.
Yeah, he was at the game, but was not part of the squad. Apparently, he did not play.
Yeah, and I think we talked about his contract details last week. Did we?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think there was an announced to the stock market, so everything's kind of hearsay at this point. But
it all sounds.
I think
great.
the duration is what we know, the 1+1 and the 4.5 buyout. The salary, I think we mentioned, was like 775,000 or something like that.
Yeah, 725.
And then if we don't play him enough, then we have to pay a loan.
Yeah, and so playing him enough means playing 70% of our matches.
And it's not clear what percentage of him we would be getting for that 4.5 million. Whether we did another Onkuru and get 50% or something.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And now that we're saying this, I totally remember us doing this in the last episode. But
yeah,
might as well rehash the memory since there's literally no news that's official. And so what that means is complicated because they're actually. I take it back. I retract that. And so while we're here. We'll do our usual run through the positions. And so, goalkeeper, no news except that Ersin played a full 90 minutes for our under-19 team, the national team. And I suppose played well.
As did Ridvan.
And Ridvan Yilmaz did as well. And Güven Yalçın did as well. And he scored the only goal in the match, which is a little.
The asterisk is that it was versus.
I was gonna say it's a little underwhelming
but,
that they only beat them 1-0, but
they lost last time. So.
But I was gonna say it's not. What all we can say is that our players are the guys on defense. So we did our part in the nil, right? And then Güven scored a goal, which is as much as you can ask for a striker.
That was probably his only shot of the game.
Yeah. So knowing exactly. But so yeah, that's the news for keeper. Beyond that, Utku looks like he might be our backup since we're struggling to even get the
Yes,
positions that
Sergen
we-
actually said today that he's happy with Utku. We're not looking for anyone else.
Oh,
So
no. It's a shame. I mean, look, like, honestly, at this point, I don't even want their focus taken away from our serious needs. At least not until those are done, right? Like,
there's definitely more news to discuss about a departure and another injury.
exactly. And so, yeah, so we started kind of at central defender with rehashing the Montero news. But so there's other news at the same position. And that starts with Enzo Rocco, who's officially gone. The club's even formally thanked him and on our Twitter and everything. So that's done. And he took a
bit bizarre. He played 2 friendlies and then was released.
Well, and so the news is that Sergen had changed his mind on him and wanted him to stick around, and then he was kind of like, nah, you know what, I'm all right. And my assumption is that in the phase where it was just public knowledge that we were trying to get rid of him, he probably got to talking, with other people, and maybe even sort of committed himself mentally to like having a more prominent role with a smaller club, and so. The latest, initially the news was that he was going to sign for Fatih Karagümrük. The latest is that he actually might be signing with your boys in Denizli, which would be a coup for them, I think.
Yeah, I think for whichever team he signs for, he would, if it's a lower level Turkish team in the first division, I think he could do good work for them.
Dude, yeah, he'll be good.
Especially any relegation fighters. So.
He'll be good. I have faith in the guy. I'm disappointed, honestly, because I'm rather convinced at this point that he's better than Wellington. But Wellington has a third the salary, so you can't argue with that. And at this point, we still have how many guys ahead of him, right? We've got, of course, Vida. Sorry, I had to let my cat in. We've got Vida and Montero slided in as starters, you'd imagine, with Isimat still theoretically in the squad. Alpay, who was finally played in the match. Wellington, who's your probably first backup, I should say, before.
And Mr. Erdoğan Kaya.
And Erdoğan Kaya. And so there's other news. Isimat Miran is very likely gone as well. The latest is that Hatayspor are hot on his heels. Again, I think it would be a great move for a small, Anadolu, and I guess, Fatih Karagümrük is in Istanbul, so they don't quite qualify. But, these smaller teams are making moves, man. I think the Turkish Super League is going to be fun this year at the very least. But, that means we're likely 2 men down, which means that it's just Montero and Vida up on the back line, with Alpay and Erdoğan Kaya as their backups, which is already okay. We went from having way too many guys to, I'm getting a little nervous there. But and of course, then there's news of Vida possibly being on his way out. We haven't heard much about that lately, so hopefully maybe that's not the case. But I mean, given his salary, I think it's likely.
There's a lot of unknowns. You would say maybe Alpay is good enough, maybe he's not, but we decided to play Enzo Rocco for 2 games and then release him with Alpay and Isimat on the bench, and both are still at the club. So you just why would you do that? I guess maybe that story that said again changed his mind, but I think Alpay got 5 minutes to play, and we watched Wellington give away penalties and
7, Evran. He got 7 minutes.
7 minutes. I apologize, but it's I'm not gonna. I don't know all the information. We don't know all the information, but it seems a little bit unprofessional and a little bit, Sunday League-esque almost, to spend that much time on a player then just let him go.
It's bad.
Because we reported last week he was gone and then he just started playing. I'm like, well, I guess we didn't know what we were talking about, and then he just left.
And then he was gone. Yeah, exactly. And what's worse is that he played well enough that I'd.
And if it was competitive games, we would have said nothing, but it's literally just friendlies. So we reverse prepared ourselves. We actually did the opposite.
No, what we did is that we got Denizlispor a little bit prepared. We were helping.
I think he's.
We were helping our friends.
To Fatih Karagümrük. So.
Or yes, perhaps we were helping the newcomers. Yeah,
is
hospitable.
actually, I think, more friendly with Beşiktaş.
Yeah. And they've got an
According to
interesting
the group
squad,
chat.
right? They got Viviano for their keeper. You know, they
And they signed an American.
oh did they?
American.
There you go.
Yeah, Eric Lehigh. Beşiktaş.
How old is
I don't think
he?
he's really ever played. He's 31 now. So
Oh
29.
yeah, I've
He's
heard of that guy. He's
been
was
bouncing
on the
around
NT.
England for the past 10 years. Yeah.
He's been on the
Has
NT
16
before.
caps.
That's interesting. Yeah, whatever, man.
He's a right back. So
We could have used that. I mean, maybe not. He's a little old. I'd have preferred. All right, so let's do that because there's obviously no news on left back. We already talked about Rıdvan Yılmaz alongside Ersin Destanoğlu and the keeper situation there. Nzakala seems to have settled a bit in that last match, so I think, I mean, whatever. It's not like we're not getting any more left back. The right back though, there's lots of news. First of all, Douglas likely on his way out. There was talk of Erzurumspor maybe wanting to get him. They've, I think, since denied it. I think there was talk of another club looking at him, but I don't know if the source was very good, and I don't really want to legitimize it. So we'll just leave it at he's likely on his way out still. He's not featured for us at all. In that regard, they did the right thing, right? Like, I mean, assuming he wasn't just injured as usual. But so besides that, like, there are a few options. It sounds like what have you got? And starting with speaking of Americans, right? There was some talk of a gringo,
a more famous American,
and better,
also
and younger.
Spent time in England.
Yep.
Mr. DeAndre Yedlin, who, fun fact, someone from my area played against him in a friendly and said he's the fastest man in the world. If you haven't seen him in real life or on TV or anything, he is very fast. That's definitely his number one attribute.
Yeah, I remember back in like FIFA 15, he was one of those hot prospects that I remember always wanted to get because you could just you could nerf his speed so easily.
Yeah, he's 27 currently.
It's pretty good for us.
Just turned 27.
Too good for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the financials would be like he's still under contract. Last year, he played 16 games in the Premier League. The previous year, he played 29. The year before that, he played 34. So he definitely saw like a decrease in minutes at Newcastle. He's no longer like the bona fide starter. So I think maybe it's possible. But his salary would be high and would have to be a loan. We're not getting like a freebie out here.
Yeah, and maybe one of these like 1+1s with an option type deals or whatever. You know, the kind of creativity. I have no doubt that they've shown that ability very, very much. I think as far as being creative with the loans and buyouts and all that. But besides that, there's a lot of other talk too, and I think very recently, Evran tell these folks about the Frenchman who's playing for Sporting at the moment.
Yeah, this one is not a player I know very well, but he's apparently the newest addition to our our right back queue of potential names that we've just been spewing, and no one has arrived. We just have Necip and Dougie Doug. So it's Valentin Rossier.
Dougie fresh. Dougie not so fresh.
Yeah, he just joined Sporting this summer for $5 million, but he did not play much at all. He had 9 appearances the entire season. So he still has 4 years left on his deal. So obviously, I think Sporting will just give him for anything less than like $3 million, and we're broke boys. So it'd be some sort of loan, you would assume.
Yeah, the usual.
Yeah. He's a former U21 international for France. He's currently 24.
Smells like
on the
Rebosho
decline.
to me, but whatever.
Yeah, sounds like Rebosho. He did not. Rebosho, to be fair, came off like a career season, so
and
he actually had hype behind him.
Additionally, I think he actually didn't play particularly poorly, and had he been able to sort of settle into the lineup, I think he probably could have very much simulated that. So I don't hold anything against Rebosho, to be honest. It was obvious that we just decided we couldn't afford the guy.
So Well, currently, I guess if we're looking at Sporting's right back situation, they have 4 right backs, and they just loaned in a right back from Manchester City for 2 years.
Oh.
A highly touted Spanish U21 international.
Well, that goes well for us.
So definitely, yeah, the starting spot will most likely not be Rozier's, because they didn't have it last year, and they brought in more reinforcements, and they have 3 foreign right backs currently. So you'd assume one of them would go.
Definitely.
Just logistically speaking, there's not too many clubs that have 4 right backs with 3 of them being foreigners. So I think he's probably available for a loan, but just, whether or not he'll come to us, and whether we did get Diaby from them last season, so there is definitely some sort of relationship
There's
there.
a rapport. Yeah, no, that's whatever.
I think it's possible. I don't know anything about the player, but just looking at the situation, I definitely think it's feasible.
And so, yeah, 24. That's pretty good. And then, of course, there's also talk of Raphael again for some reason, but then I think he may have shot it down himself. So yeah,
he went on Twitter, said, "Where do you guys get your information from?" When there was a French Twitter page that reposted a Turkish Twitter page, and then he just clowned them. So he didn't necessarily say "Oh, the transfer's false," but it was talking about the financials, saying he turned down this money, asked for this money. He's like, "Where are you guys getting this information from?" So
that's funny. But so yeah, that I don't know. But the one that's been talked about the most is definitely this sort of another battle with a local rival, and it's with Fener to compete over the contract of Nazim Sangare. I don't even understand how either of us is even in the running. He should be out of our price range. But again, I suppose there's going to be some loan extension type dealie.
I think Fenerbahce has unlimited funds apparently. So
yeah, they just decided the rules
no one
don't apply to them.
out of their price range.
The rules simply don't apply to them. But what do we do here? What do you think? What's legit as far as who we're getting?
I don't really think I think they asked for money.
Oh, and of course there's Santon, David Santon.
Santon, yeah, Santon we thought was done, and then apparently it has collapsed. There's a lot of conflicting news right
now
back.
Beşiktaş here may have come in to raise our price tag on it. And then he might go there. I mean, what a disaster. Every indication is that he's wanted to stay in Italy, though, I think. That's been the most consistent feedback, it sounds like. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Parma or whatever.
The official update was that Beşiktaş changed their mind on the wage, as they thought it was too much.
Oh, my God. If this is Ahmet Nurçevi playing games again. This guy. All right.
We were never interested in the first place.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's not on the coach's top list, top 5. Anyway, moving on. I guess the sort of logical place to go is to the midfield, the center of our midfield. And the news has shifted yet again. Obviously, with Lemina gone, Ndiaye sort of faded into the mist. We have no word of what happened there.
And a fun fact: Gala signed my quarantine favorite Etebo. So, not that we were ever linked to him, but
yeah, but I do recall you wanting him. But so that leaves us with some interesting stuff. The only talk really of late is Joseph de Souza, who many will recall played for Fener not long ago, before I think some sort of journey to Northern Africa or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, he's in the Saudi league for Al Ahly. Yeah, so he did go to the Saudi league in 2018 for $13 million. When Fener sold him and Giuliano as a pair. His contract is supposed to expire officially in the summer. But Mr. Serjan Dikme, who's been on the roll this summer, the journalist who's on Haber Global and then switched to A Sport, so we'll still trust him somewhat. He said that apparently he canceled his contract with Al Ahly to be a free agent, and Beşiktaş has now met with him. So I think, not sure what you guys think or what you think, but I remember he was pretty good. probably one of the better defensive mids in Turkey a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was annoying. I remember, like, which is a good thing, I suppose, when you're talking about a rival player. I didn't hate him. He didn't make my list, but he definitely. And
Sergen did mention that he likes Joseph Distel. I think it's more of an issue of he was supposed to be paid 4 million euros last season, or this season, upcoming season, and
that's not happening.
That's a lot. But I believe the report is that he said he left the club and sued for his finances, and then I guess he would get both. So it's possible it might be a lower salary, but I think it's a bit of a stretch. Kind of like a we want, but it might be too expensive.
Well, so we'll see about that. Gokhan playing fairly well for us the other day before getting red carded foolishly.
Sent off.
That, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. That's obviously, I think, the logical place to go next is the wing. And what have we there, sir?
There's news on the wing. It's not an official transfer, but it's just about official. Gokhan Tore has terminated his deal with Yeni Malatyaspor, and all signs are pointing to he will sign with Beşiktaş within the next, I'm guessing, 2 to 3 days at the latest. I'm assuming if you turn on your notifications, Beşiktaş will be tweeting some sort of emoji very soon.
The hand over the face. I bet it'll be a hand over a face emoji.
Yeah, something like that. It's really only a matter of time unless something crazy happens. So against Lily this morning said if his contract ends, he'll probably come. He's welcome to come, and then like 2 hours later, his contract ended. It was terminated.
Yeah, and he took quite a bill for it. He footed all the salary that they hadn't paid. It amounted to like 4 million.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 million Turkish liras.
Yeah, it was quite a thing to do to join us, you hope. And hopefully he doesn't ask for too much of a salary. That might be a sticking point, but Nurchevi will, definitely draw that out. He will draw that out as long as he can. Besides that,
he'll bring him to training for 6 weeks and then sign him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like 2 weeks into
on the last possible day.
Is there any other talk on the wings? Anyone outgoing? I don't think so. There's no talk of Tyler Boyd's injured fairly long term with a PCL.
Yeah, Nkudu's still hurt, and they're still using the word chronic sakat, which you would rather your coach doesn't use about a player you paid a lot of money for.
Yes.
They're still saying that. I guess he said, he gets injured at a higher rate. That's what he said today. As a correction.
Great.
Thanks, Tiger.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, we hope for the best. I mean, supposedly there was like a scramble to see if he might be able to play against Trabzon, which is encouraging. At least it's not long term, but obviously I don't think he will play. And speaking of injuries, and since there's no other news on the wing, let's talk about what's going on with the striker position. And first of all, the family man Laren, who's coming off a pretty good preseason, is injured, so he's not going to feature against Trabzon. What's the story? What's the scoop, Evran?
Yeah, Beşiktaş I didn't even know he got hurt. But Beşiktaş officially announced today that he has a grade 1 muscle strain in his biceps femoris, which is not in his arm; it's in his left thigh. So doesn't sound good for the game that's in 6 days.
Sure doesn't. And so with no striker.
And even if he did play, he would, which is I do not think is likely, he would be at risk for re-injuring. I would say at best he comes off the bench, unless Beşiktaş is misleading us, and I don't know, but.
I mean, basically, what this means is that at the moment, Ozan Akun could be our starter on opening night. But let's talk about our other alternatives. And so this is probably the most anticipated part of the show. Even is let's talk about some strikers. The major news segment, obviously, that sort of persisted. And speaking of battles with Fener, this is for Kalinic, Nikola Kalinic. What's the scoop there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a rumor that's just persists just because he plays for Atletico Madrid and he's a recognizable name. I think he is on the list.
And his managers come to Istanbul.
There hasn't really been any official reports about figures, I would say, since last episode. All we heard is that one of the board members said that they did meet with Kalinic and 3 other names. One of those that I'm more excited about.
Tell us about it.
So it's Kalinic, Abubakar, Zé Luiz, and Papi Cisse were the 4 names listed that we have met with for striker. I think we mentioned Cisse for a month. But I think Zé Luiz was kind of off the table. Porto's give us money.
A lot.
Abubakar is the one that's the most feasible financially. It's just if Beşiktaş wants him. They said Abubakar is available on a free transfer. But the health reports are still an issue. I believe it was Sergen who said that there is worries about his injury. His likelihood of re-injury.
And I think he said something about, or not he, but there was some news that he wanted some sort of clause in his contract and about insuring his salary with the bank to make sure they couldn't not pay him. And people were like, "Yo, the staff doesn't even have that." But so yeah, that's whatever. We'll see where that goes. But so this leaves us with Plan C at the moment, which is sounding sort of scarily likely.
The name I just purposely forget because I don't want him to come.
Same, yeah. Let's just inform the people because I think a lot of people like him and want him. I don't know why, but
yeah. I mean, I guess he came off a career season Bengali for the Koyca, who was probably the worst finisher in Turkey for the past 4 years, and then managed to learn how to score once.
For one season.
But yeah, he scored 12 this year. So I guess he's positionally the same as Abubakar, can play as a wing forward or a forward. But I don't think Kasımpaşa would gift him like they gifted Mametyan, based on what the rumors are. So I think that's the 3 names right now is Koyta, Abubakar, and Kalinic. Yeah, that's going on. Kalinic is the most expensive, and then Koyta would probably have the lowest salary, but it's not clear how much he would cost. So
yeah. Trying to think of something positive to say about all this. There's not a lot positive to say. We're definitely going to need someone to be on the squad before match day number 1, because with Larin injured, Larin being the guy that we sort of primed for the season of anyone on the current squad, these friendlies. We're obviously going to need some sort of insertion of talent there. But additionally, we also very clearly need a right back as well. So I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on here. It's T-minus 6 days and counting. What I can say is that our first match is going to be on Sunday, September 13th at 1 p.m. here on the Eastern Standard Time. So obviously check your local listings. I think that's going to be 8 p.m., maybe 9 in Istanbul.
yeah, sounds about right.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts here? You have any predictions for who's going to play?
I don't even know. We really don't know any. I mean, Ersin will be in goal, I'll tell you that. And Sakala will be at left back. Mensah will probably start, but other than that, I don't know if Vito will still be at the club. I guess Montero's probably not ready. Hasn't played at all. You would hope you don't see Wellington again, but I think we might see that, and then hopefully we can sign at least one player before, other than Gokhan Tore. I don't really consider him like a signing because he's just kind of, we already have players in his position, so whether he comes today or next week doesn't really matter. But we do not have a striker currently that I trust with Laren out, and then we do not have a right back. Like, we just have Dougie Doug, the Magician, and Nejip. So
Doug E, not so fresh. Yeah, I'm okay, whatever. I mean, honestly, like in that last match, we scrapped together pieces so where like Nejip was playing on the right. Oh, no, we can't. Nope. I'm not gonna allow myself to even try to think that that's gonna be okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need. Oh my god, 6 days and counting.
yeah, I think
6 days and counting. That's all I can say.
Sergen said he still wants, I think, like 5 more players or something. So
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we're already
It'd be
beyond
lucky to
even
get
talking
3,
about a
but-
backup keeper. We're just like hoping for the bare minimum at this point. We want them to focus. You know, I don't even want distraction. Oh boy. Well,
a good thing week 1's versus Trabzon, right?
yeah, exactly. It's not like we're playing against a good team or anything. Sorlath coming off like a 3-goal performance or whatever it was today for. Okay, whatever. Let's just get psyched here. Let's get psyched. But so yeah, stay tuned. Obviously, our next episode will be a follow-up to match day 1, and so I mean, there might be an emergency episode if there's like a really exciting transfer, Evran. I don't know if you're up for it.
Yeah,
But
maybe like a 15-minute.
yeah, but let's keep this one short and sweet, man. Take us out, Evran. What do you have to say for our fans? What do they have to look forward to here?
I guarantee Gokhan Tore will come. I do not guarantee anyone else will come. The news has been moving real slow, and if you're being realistic, if a player doesn't come within the next 48 hours, is he gonna be ready to just walk in there and start against Trabzon? I don't know. Juventus hasn't played for us yet this season, so I guess Umut is the starter. I don't know. He wasn't available yesterday for some reason. No, not yesterday, but the Antalya game. So I really would say you want a consistent goal scorer for one of the hardest games of the season, and a right back, but we have neither. So I think you really need to hope on that midfield to Dorukhan Atiba, Oğuzhan Mensah. Whatever combination we have there is if they basically have to win the game. And then maybe Hasic, Lens, whoever else is playing.
Yeah.
Because if we have an Umut up there, then, you know, he basically has to have the ball put on a platter for him.
It's going to take a miracle, honestly. I mean, and to be fair, Ozan can really dish him, but it's going to...
Yeah, I mean, Trabzon's a little bit of a new-look team, so themselves, but they have the players already. It's just whether they're, you know, they're gelled or whatever, but we don't even have the new players yet, so...
And I keep expecting them to sell Urjan, you know, Abdul Kadir, who they call, you know, Omar.
They've been sold in.
They're not doing it, so I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, it's going to be weird. Let's definitely cross our fingers that things change very quickly in 6 days for everyone involved. But what we can say is we'll be back as usual. And so you can follow us on Twitter at Eagles_podcast. Follow the mothership for all the latest news at Beşiktaş_INT. Follow this fellow over here at Fan of BJK. Myself at Sir_Rights_a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a last minute search here to see if there was some news we missed, but it looks like the only thing I really have to say is let's go Beşiktaş!
I'll be excited. Right now, it's not exciting.
Welcome.
Beşiktaş International hopes you enjoyed this program.